I'm going to tell you a story about someone I'm sure you know. This is Ali Baba, a boy who was always in search of adventure. And this is what happened to him one day. He was out in the countryside and he was near a big rock face when suddenly he heard the pounding of horses' hooves. Quick as a flash, he hid high up in a tree to watch what happened. And round the corner hurtled 40 horses, and on their back 40 thieves. The 40 thieves dismounted. Would you like to see them? Well, here are just some of them. We haven't got all of them here because it would take all afternoon to show you. And besides, some of them were in prison. But a pretty fearsome lot they are, aren't they? And these were the best looking ones. And the robber leader stood in front of the rock face and he said, "Open sesame!" And all the robbers went inside. And then Ali Baba heard, "Close sesame!" and the rock face slid across. A little while later, Ali Baba was woken from his doze up in the tree. "Open sesame!" he heard again, and out came the robbers mounted on their horses. "Close sesame!" and off they rode. And Ali Baba thought, I'd love to look inside there and see what's actually going on. And so he marched boldly up to the rock face and he said, well, he couldn't remember what to say. He tried open celery, but that didn't work. Can anybody here remember what Ali Baba should say? Open sesame, that's it. And so he roared open sesame as loudly as he could, and the rock face slid aside. And would you like to see what he found inside? He found the most wonderful sight. He found great urns full of gold and jewels, diamonds and rubies, everything you could imagine. And just as he was exploring, do you know what he heard? He heard the sound of thundering horses' hooves again, and a voice from outside said, "Open sesame!" And the rock face slid aside. Quick as a flash, Ali Baba hid behind one of these huge urns and hoped that nobody would find him. "Close sesame!" he heard, and the rock face slammed shut, and there he was inside the cave with 40 robbers. And then he heard a voice that said, "Just a minute, there's somebody here who shouldn't be." And Ali Baba gasped. And the robber chief told all the robbers to stand in line. And Ali Baba thought, my only chance is to join the queue right at the back and hope that nobody sees me. And so he joined right at the back. And one by one the robbers had to step forward in front of the robber chief. And Ali Baba thought, I'll mix myself amongst the robbers and maybe they won't find me. Now I need the help of a boy and girl. And the boy is going to play the part of one of the robbers. And the robber chief said to him, if you see Ali Baba, you chop off his head. But we don't want that to happen, do we, boys and girls? And so this young girl here, she's going to rub the lamp to make Ali Baba disappear. Let's have a look. Here are the robbers. There's one in a pink robe. There's one in a purple robe. One in a blue robe. A green robe. A red robe. A pink robe. In fact, we're back to the beginning. And Ali Baba has disappeared completely. Oh, said the robber chief, I must have been mistaken. And a little while later, they left, and the rock face slammed shut again. Now, I'm sure you know, just as I do, that Ali Baba is hiding here in the cave. Can anybody see him? He's hiding so well, I don't think we can see him at all. Can anybody here see him? You saw him? Oh, that's very clever. I can't see him at all. Oh, there he is. And so that is the story of Ali Baba. I think we ought to give him a big round of applause for being so clever. And I also think we ought to give this little boy and girl something. So you take off the top, take out 2 little presents, and you reward your 2 helpers. That is the story of Ali Baba and the 40